Changes were inevitable. Big changes were inevitable. I just didn't think they would come with release notes as long as the Bible. Hi, this is Vortex, and today we're taking a look at the many changes coming with V35. Now, I know the patch notes have been released a while ago, and I know that not everyone wants an hour-long video, so I'll just go over the major changes. First of all, the map, which some of us have played for almost a year, will be disabled starting tomorrow. In its place will come Monolith. I have tons of videos on this map, so I won't go in detail over most of its features. But there are some things which we've found out from these release notes that weren't in any other article on Monolith. For example, we knew that there was a jump pad which allowed you to, jump over the mid lane and get from one jungle to the other. But there seem to be more jump pads on Monolith, which allow you to quickly traverse from the base. But your jump pad deactivates when your first Tier 2 tower is deactivated. In the jungle we have Amber Links, we have jungle buffs, river buffs, and gold buffs. We've talked about those, but something new is these raptors which are being added. Now, the black buff looks like a raptor, so does that mean that black buff won't be on Monolith? Then what the fuck is here? I mean, on the other side is the Prime Guardian, so here, what is there? Are there two Prime Guardians now? Guess we'll find out soon. Now let's focus our attention to the lanes. Now all structures have been rebalanced in terms of health, damage, and range, but now they have a backdoor protection. Its visual representation can be seen in the Winterfest video, and for a very limited time in the Twin Blast rework video. So what does this backdoor protection mean? It means you can't go and attack a tower or an inhibitor without having minions in its range. Speaking of having minions under a tower, you can now stop the minions from focusing your tower by attacking them. Although this doesn't work with siege minions, they will continue to attack your tower no matter what. Also, minions will now be slowly added to the wave over the course of the match. Another major change is that now when killing an enemy hero, he won't drop amber on the ground. Instead, all of the amber will be distributed directly to the last hitter and to the teammates who assisted him. Speaking of not dropping, buffs will now also go directly to the last hitter. Now let's talk about the hero changes. All heroes have had their movement speed increased, but there are now movement speed penalties for attacking, strafing, and jumping, which is sad for no other reason than the fact that everybody was jumping when going to lane. Speaking of faster things, cooldowns have been decreased drastically. allowing for a faster, more action-oriented gameplay. Also, cast times of many abilities have been reduced, and all health, armor, and damage values have been changed. Also, ranges for most abilities and the basic attacks of ranged heroes have been decreased to account for the new speeds. Building cards will be completely different on Monolith. That's because now, instead of getting 3 card power at a time, it will be now earned in increments of 1. Also, the physical and energy damage stats no longer exist. Instead, they have been replaced with a universal stat called power. That does not mean that armor and penetration are going away. No. All heroes deal basic damage with their primary attacks and ability damage with, well, their abilities. When equipping power, a certain percentage goes to the basic damage, whereas the rest goes towards ability damage. Now there will be basic penetration and ability penetration. Same goes for armor. Now let's talk about specific hero changes. First of all, Twin Blast has been reworked. His ability, Nitro, was removed from the game and instead replaced with Rapid Fire. With this ability, Twin Blast shoots 3 times rapidly. These shots have all the properties of a normal basic attack, which means it can crit. Grenades now no longer have a slow component and have 3 charges, which means you can throw 3 grenades in a short span of time. Obviously, when this ability is on cooldown, it will recharge only 1 charge, and you will have to wait for the other 2. Also, his ultimate Barrage has been removed. It has been instead replaced with Ventilate. Twin Blast arms still transform into bigger guns than the ones he already had, but the shots are completely different. Twin Blast now shoots 30 shots over 3 seconds. These shots no longer deal AoE damage, and the ability doesn't slow Twin Blast anymore. Now let's go over to Greystone. Now, when being killed with his ultimate active, he applies a slow in an area near him. The closer you are to a reforged Greystone, the greater the movement speed slow will be. But now, enemies damaged by reforged are no longer knocked out. Going over to Chimera, his regeneration is now limited to 25 stacks. Their duration has been decreased from 5 seconds to 2.2 seconds. His ambush ability has also received a small change. Now, targets won't receive a mini stun. Instead, he will apply a slow. And during his ultimate, Call, targets are no longer rooted. Instead, they are stunned. Speaking of becoming way more powerful, Bellica's Void Drone has been buffed. Its mana drain was drastically increased. Previously, it just drained 2 mana. Now it drains 10, 18, 26, and 34. We now go over to my favorite tank, Sevrog. The way his soul stacks work has been changed a little. Now, previously the only way to generate soul stacks was to get the last hit with Siphon. Now, you can use any ability, but because Subjugate doesn't really deal that much damage, it's more like Siphon and the ultimate, occasionally subjugate. Also, hero kills with an ability now grant 3 stacks instead of just 1. Each stack now grants both health and damage, with bonus health and damage at 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 stacks. Now, as happy as I am for Sevrog when it comes to these changes, unfortunately his ultimate Colossal Blow has been somewhat nerfed in the sense that it no longer instantly kills enemy minions. Which is sad because this component of his ultimate made him ideal to face off against super minions. Going over from one slight redesign to the next, Steel had his very own small changes. His charge ability is now called Ball Rush. Aside from the range being slightly decreased, there aren't any changes, but his shield block, now called Bulwark, now blocks a certain percentage of all non-AoE damage that passes through the shield, and lasts only 3 seconds. While this ability is active, Steel can no longer turn, but he can move normally otherwise. Now we hop over to Grimmix. While choosing a target for his ultimate, GTFO, he can no longer move. These were all the major changes when it comes to heroes. Now let's hop on over to cards. To be fair, while reading the list of changes coming to the cards, I got bored, so I just took a look at the most important things. As you might expect, with the disappearance of Harvester's, keys no longer exist. Harvester's key has been completely removed. The other keys have been reworked into either sitches or siphons. A sitch deals bonus 15 damage to jungle minions, while having a siphon and attacking a jungle minion restores 8 health. We also have Lazarus Blade instead of Lazarus Key. This card is a combination of both a sitch and a siphon. It deals bonus damage to minions and heals you. Cooldown reduction is now a stat which is almost extinct. It has been reserved to max upgrade bonuses. I literally have no idea what can we use the cooldown reduction upgrades for anymore. Also, crazy changes are coming to some cards, because there were cards that had the same effect. Only one was for physical damage and the other for energy damage. Many were changed. For example, a Goron Scepter, which used to give you damage and a max upgrade bonus of 50% bonus crit damage, now grants you max mana. Now that we've talked about the major changes coming with V35, I think it's time to share my opinions. Judging from the release notes and the video which showcases Twin Blast's rework, I believe these changes will make the combat much faster, without sacrificing the strategy that the MOBA genre is known for. I will miss Agora / Legacy / whatever you want to call it. I will truly miss it. For me, this map represents everything that Paragon was, and still is for little more over a day, and it's sad to see it go. Though, I believe it might return in a different form. More on that in a future video. Right now, I am excited to meet you on Monolith. This was Vortex, signing off.